We're at Dayton Hamvention, and I'm here at N9TAX Antennas with Joe. Check it out. Hey guys, I'm Kevin with Comms by Kemp Outside. We're your inside source for outdoor comms, and I'm here with Joe with N9TAX Antennas. Super excited to be here because I have been using Joe's antennas for a long time, but this is the first time I've been able to meet him because I've never come to a Dayton Ham Fest, and you don't come down to Orlando Hamcation.
Welcome. I almost went this year, but I just didn't quite have the time.
Okay, well,
So too many things go on in the early part of the year. I'd love to get down to Hamcation one of these years, though.
You are not wrong, but anyway, I'm so glad when I saw you on the list, I'm like, I got to stop by.
Well, we appreciate it.
And
welcome to Hamvention, by the way.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's my first time being here, so
nice,
I'm pretty excited about that. So, Joe, you make a Slim Jim antenna. You make dual bands. You make monoband antennas.
Correct.
It's an antenna I've used a lot. I have your GMRS MERS version. I have your dual band version. I have your 220 band version. Tell people a little bit about your antennas, and then whatever else you do, because I see you're starting to do a little bit of 3D printing and stuff like that. But let's start with the antenna, and then see where we go from there.
The antenna business is something that started about 18 years ago now, I guess. It's really, I didn't intend to start a business.
Mm-hmm.
I made one of these for myself.
Okay.
Because I needed an antenna, and at the time it was right after the 2008 financial crash. Didn't have a lot of money, so this was something inexpensive that I can build, and I bought a few parts to make it, and ended up with some extra materials, right? Because you can't just buy 5 feet of ladder line, right? That'd be ridiculous.
Right.
So I was like, I'll make a few more of these and put them on eBay.
Okay.
I'm gonna earn a little bit of money and maybe buy a radio, and that's how it started. It within a couple of weeks I'd sold them, and I was like, I'm gonna make some more of these. And then, it's because if I can make a hobby to self-support itself, then it keeps the wife happy, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, and incidentally, now my wife helps with the business, and she puts all the connectors on. In fact, I'd put her up against about any ham. Ability to install connectors on cable. She's very good, and does a really good job helping out with the antennas. But it's nothing special. It's a half-wave end-fed antenna, right? Most people are familiar with J-poles and things like that. It's very similar to a J-pole, and the Slim Jim folds another radiator back down and gives you a slight bit more gain advantage. But it's.
So one of the things that I really like about it, I'm just going to grab one here. I'll just grab this one. Is that you can coil it up. You can throw it in a go bag, right? These are designed for not just portable field ops for VHF UHF. You can certainly deploy these at home, hang it off a tower, hang it out of a tree, whatever you want to do at home. But I love it for when I'm camping because we'll throw one in a tree. I use the MERS GMRS one for the family, because we all operate on GMRS because my wife won't get a license. Come on, Barb, get a license. Anyway.
My wife has a license.
See?
She's an extra class.
Joe's wife has a license. But so we run GMRS. I also run MERS radios from time to time, depending on if I'm with people who don't have GMRS licenses.
Sure.
We do MERS.
It's very handy, absolutely.
But the dual band is awesome. Now your dual band is a little bit different than your monoband antennas. I have an old homebrew J-pole that I built out of ladder line when I was like 15 years old, but it's only good on 2 meters. It won't work on 70 centimeters. You do something to make your antennas dual band.
Yeah, so a straight up J-pole will sort of resonate on UHF. It's not very efficient, but we do add these traps in here, which allow the antenna to trap out just a 70 centimeter radiator. And by doing that, I'm able to control better where that resonant point is, and make sure that it's you get a good sweep across the band. So, I feel like that's kind of important. It's just a trap like you'd find in any antenna. There's nothing special. We build it out of coax, but they work real well. I've got a good reception from people over the years, and everybody seems to be really happy. I use them myself, so it's I know they work, and they're good antennas. They're not magic, but it's a good antenna for a reasonable price. You know,
Right.
I mean, that's all we've ever tried to have. We try to build them with the best quality that we can. You know, they're all handmade.
Yeah.
Me and my wife make them at our house, and
Yeah.
you know, have done it for almost 20 years now. So.
And it's, you know, it's quality components. You know, one of the things I really like about it is how well it's made. You know, I can curl these up, throw them in. The ends are all heat shrink, so you're protected. It's the feed cable is zip tied in, so you're not going to rip the feed cable out. Nice, you know, cover over the ferrite. And then you do a bunch of different connectors, right? You can order them with SMA, BNC.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole list on the
SHTF.
site, but yeah, there's a number of different connectors, even mini UHF for the Motorola fans out there. And,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we try and have a variety of whatever people are using for in the mainstream. I don't do any really exotic stuff, but it's hard to cover there's a bazillion different kinds of connectors out there, but
yeah. And then the other thing is right, I think the hardest part of an antenna like this is you have to have somewhere to hang it. But you've even in the later years added some 3D printing stuff to address hanging antennas like the hook and the PVC
the hooks,
mounts.
Well, here, I got it right here. Yeah, the hooks was a big thing. Before we had the 3D printers, a lot of people asked me, well, how do I hang this up? I mean, yeah, you do something non-conductive. You could use a piece of rope, paracord, something like that, or a zip tie. Especially if it's going to be near metal. But yeah, the hook was actually first designed to, and the reason it's the size it is, to go on like a curtain rod.
Right. Yep.
So we made it big enough that it would fit on pretty much any curtain rod that you're going to find, and then add a little throat to it so it could hang down enough to not interact with something that's metal. Or
so like you have it hang up on a metal pipe right now. It might just be for display. If they were going to hang it on something metal, how far down should they hang it?
This would work.
That's decent enough to not interfere?
Off of the end, it's not so bad. Having metal to the radiating sides of it, you want to be about a foot away.
Right.
But off of the end, because it doesn't really radiate off the end.
Yeah. So if somebody wanted to hang this off a tower, let's say if they had an arm that was a foot off the tower,
you'd want to be at least a foot from the metal. That will stop interactions between the metal and the antenna.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you have metal adjacent to the antenna, like any antenna will do this, you will get some shadowing where that metal is. This will change your pattern, right? Yeah. But what I'm talking about is not messing up your tune, right? Because you want to make sure that you don't screw up where your SWRs are correct throughout the band, right? Yeah. So,
and then the question that you get all the time, and we talked about this off camera, is all the people who ask, "Can I put it in PVC?"
Yeah, and we worked with the PVC a long time ago to try and figure out, and I actually have an antenna at home that's in PVC. It can work. It has to be accounted for. The problem that I found is even if you buy 3 pieces of PVC out of the same lot from the same store, they all interact differently because it's not made to be a radome on an antenna. It's made to be plumbing. Right. So they didn't consider the thickness, of the plastic throughout the length of the PVC. So yeah, I mean, even like I said, 3 pieces out of the same lot, then we don't even get into 2 different lots, right? Or 2 different brands. Yeah. Have a big difference of effect. So So what we ended up coming up with, and again, thanks to the 3D printers, are these little mounts that allow you to the little square end on there kind of snaps into the window in the window line, and there's a top cap, and the reason I closed the top cap is if the screw, that's a stainless screw, but if the screw were ever to fall out or rust away, it won't slide down the pipe.
Right.
Yeah, so it gives you the best chance to not fall apart.
Right.
Because I have been asked, well, could you make me 2 pieces that are open, right?
Right.
So that I can put one down here on the pipe and one up here on the pipe, but I don't really want to sell it with an open end. The idea was, I mean, we try and think through all the products to make them as bulletproof as possible.
Well, and quite honestly, at $5 a set, if you want 2 open ends, just buy 2.
You could.
Like,
Or honestly, you could cut out the filled-in end if you had a special application. It would not hurt it. Yeah. One of those step bits would take the plastic
take it right out. Yeah.
But
so that's really cool. As a matter of fact, I just picked up one of these because I do kind of want to play with mounting some on PVC. What is the pipe diameter? Is that a 1/2 inch PVC?
For 3/4.
3/4 inch PVC. Okay.
So the reason we settled on 3/4, half is a little too thin. In the wind, it'll just bend over.
Gotcha.
And 1 is getting kind of ridiculously big.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but 3/4 is plenty to support the antenna.
Yeah.
And it's small enough that it creates the least amount of footprint near the antenna possible.
Yeah.
And so.
Cool. What else do you want to tell us about N9TAX? Where are you going? You got any product development? Any more ideas for? I know you're busy.
I have a lot of ideas right now in my life. I am so busy because I still work a full-time job.
Sure.
And do this on the side, and I am so busy with this that I almost do nothing else in life right now. So,
okay.
Moving forward in the future, who knows what that's going to bring? Yeah. Maybe at some point I could retire from my job and develop the product line further. I definitely have ideas, the things that I could do. It's just I don't have time to do them.
Yeah.
And the other thing is too, I don't want to get myself spread too thin with products that I'm not focused on making what I do make well.
Right.
You know, so as for right now, I'm not, you know, maybe if there's another 3D printed thing. I know I had some people ask me about POTA stuff when we were here, and so maybe I'll look at some of the people's in our group's POTA sticks.
Yeah.
And if maybe another mount that would go on a POTA, whatever,
mask,
whatever they're using for the POTA
mask.
Yeah, I don't do POTA myself, so I'm not sure how the masks look, but we do have some people in the club. I could lean on them to look at their equipment and see what they're using.
Yeah.
And
cool.
Maybe something like that, because the 3D printed stuff, I can get the 3D printers to work for me.
Yeah.
And I only have to do the design once, which is good.
Yeah.
And so that kind of product, I could see.
And then I guess just a few more questions. The one I thought of was, if someone's going to hang one of these antennas, say anywhere between 25 and 50 feet in the air, what coax do you recommend? There's a balance between line loss and weight.
So I have what I like to call the 50-100 rule. So over a small amount, like say over 25 feet and up to 50 feet, an LMR 240 equivalent is a pretty good cable. And then in the 100-foot area, so maybe 75 to 150 feet, an LMR 400.
400,
Yeah.
And you don't think that weighs too much to pull on?
It does weigh too much for the antenna, but all you have to do is, you're going to support this probably with like a paracord. You leave a tail and just come down and support the cable as well. If you tie it right under wherever your connector is, and pull just enough weight off of the antenna that it stays somewhat taut, but supports the cable.
Yeah.
The antenna itself could support the cable.
Right.
The problem is the connector. The connectors are crimped on. They're not designed to support weight.
Right.
And they can't be, really. I mean, so I actually had one hanging up at the house that I pulled the connector off like 15 years ago.
Right.
So I know from experience, you can absolutely pull the connector off some LMR 400 for sure.
Sure. Yeah, no, so that's a great tip. I didn't think about leaving enough paracord down.
Yeah, and the paracord is so thin it won't affect the antenna.
Right, sure.
Yeah.
And then the last question I have for you is, for my channel, we do all kinds of outdoor comms, not just ham radio. So there's people that could be watching us who have their own LMR business frequencies, or there might be people who, maybe they want a marine VHF antenna. Sure. I know on your website you can build antennas to custom frequencies. So talk about that just a little bit.
Yeah, so if you pick any of our single band antennas, we don't custom do the dual band, and there's reasons for that. But any of the single bands can be custom cut between 136 and 999 megahertz, and for an additional fee, we'll cut them down to 88. So even people, and I've had people that buy them for their Christmas light displays, who have the transmitter for the FM radio in the car if you drive by, and you can listen to the music while you watch the displays. I've sold quite a few to those, to that group too. We do charge a little bit more because they're getting so ginormously long and they're hard to work with, and it's more material. But it's a nominal amount of money. But and you can pick any one of those frequencies. Now, I do try to dissuade people. There's a lot of people getting into like the LoRaWAN stuff and stuff. So they want them for 900 megahertz. There's not a lot of gain in a half-wave radiator at 900 megahertz. Right. Even like these antennas right here are 900 megahertz. They're little whips, magnetic, and they're collinear. So even these have more gain than a half-wave would have at 900. But we will make them.
Right. Well, and then if you're running any length of coax, you've got so much line loss.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
if you were going to run something like this for 900 meg, I wouldn't use more than the maybe the 10-foot length that we have on there. Yeah. And even at that, it's going to be quite a bit of loss. honestly, the standard antenna with the radio mounted right at the bottom of the, we do offer the standard antennas with BNCs too, which would be better for that frequency than a UHF connector, of course.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't mount the radio right below it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't suggest them for the higher frequencies, but people do buy them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then I guess one last question that I have for you is, I am dying for someone to make a roll-up J-pole for 6 meters. Is that something that you could do for 6 meters FM for the guys that are running around with like the 6 meter, handhelds and stuff like that who want to?
So there are a lot of mechanical issues with making a 6 meter antenna, and I've toyed with them over the years, and they're just too mechanically complex.
Yeah.
So one of the problems that you have is this ladder line. The length of everything is critical for the tuning, but this spacing between the wires also plays a part.
Yeah.
And as you get lower in frequency, you can make a 6 meter antenna, but the lower you get, the narrower in bandwidth it gets.
Right.
If I can spread these conductors out to about 3 inches or so, you can make a pretty decent 6 meter antenna.
Gotcha.
But then you're talking about making your own window wire, and it's a very long antenna.
Yep.
So yeah, I just haven't, and I'm not going to rule out doing it someday, because I have definitely experimented with it over the years. But again, haven't had time to expand the product line.
Right.
We keep really busy making these.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, I totally get it.
It's a question I get a lot.
Yeah, well, I bought one of the Ocean quad band, 2 meter, 70 centimeter, and then it has 1.25 and it has 6 meters.
Okay.
But I would love to use it as a 6 meter handheld, but with a stock rubber duck, what am I getting? So, but if I was out in the field and I could just hang it, hang something in a tree, it gives me a 6 meter antenna. That would be really cool.
We've made them over the years, and they're just. I'm just, until I can come up with something that I can produce for a reasonable price, and I know that it's a decent antenna, and I feel good about the quality, I've just been holding back from doing it.
Well, no, and honestly, I'd much rather have that is have, a manufacturer say, what I make is good, and I'm not going to make something that just isn't going to perform up to my standards.
Right.
I respect that for sure. So,
yeah, that's the most important thing to us, right? Is keeping the customers happy and making sure that we're building something that I would use myself.
Yeah.
So
cool.
And that's a high standard at times. I don't like junk.
And then I'm going to put a link down below, but tell people where they can find you and where they can buy.
So N9TAXlabs.com is our website, and you can go there and you can get our information. We have a YouTube, it's N9TAX Labs. There's some informational videos and things like that on there. You can learn about the antennas and some of the other products that we've had over the years. And come on out, check us out. And
I'll tag all of that stuff below, guys, so that you can check that out. And Joe, thank you so much for coming on the channel. I really, really appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for stopping by.
Like I said, I love the antennas, use them all the time. And so it's great to finally meet you, and I'm sure I'll be acquiring more as time goes on. Which
that's wonderful. We like that.
Sure, you're happy to hear. And so just thanks for coming on. And guys, we got a whole lot more coming from Hamvention, so stay tuned. Hit that subscribe, ring that little bell icon that notifies you when releasing new videos. Give me a thumbs up on this video. It helps the algorithm, helps people find my little YouTube channel. Guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you outside.